this planet.
Wow, that's major. You know what I'm saying? Most people don't even think twice about mushrooms,
Oh
even
no,
eating them, let
no,
alone,
no. I
you know
tell
what I'm
people
saying,
all the
healing them.
time. I tell folks all the time, if you say you don't like mushrooms, it's because you really ain't had none for real. And I understand that. Like the access to good edible gourmet mushrooms is limited. Like we get white buttons and portobellos. Like, but there's mushrooms out there that taste like lobster. There's stuff that cooks up like calamari, that has a meaty texture like steak. Like, and what's cool about some mushrooms is if you turn them cap up in the sun, they absorb so much more vitamin D, and then we can utilize that to get access to more vitamin D. Like there's so
Oh,
much that we don't know about mushrooms, and we don't. I mean, when will we ever have the opportunity to? Like, it's not something that is taught in schools. Like some of the stuff is coming out within the last 20 years, and it's certain communities that talk about it. But so that's why I'm trying to learn as much as I can, so I can bring it to a level that more people have access to, so that we can talk about this more in the community. So we could talk about like how do we cook up lion's mane and oyster mushrooms? How do we grow these things? Like blue oyster mushrooms are easy to grow by yourself in a tub in your closet. Like we could have sustainable food sources. Like we started talking about like this food shortage that we know is going to come. So even talking about even growing, um, the relationship that plants have with mushrooms or fungi is important. It's a symbiotic relationship that they have. So using that in compost to beef up the soil, because it's what breaks down and provides nutrients to these plants. So it will help us in the understanding sustainability on real terms if we really understood the fungi community.
okay. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I was looking at a post on I think it was
No
Instagram, and it
problem.
looked at like a barbecue rib or steak or something like you were saying. And then once I watched the video, it was actually a mushroom. You know what I'm saying? It was how they prepared it and
Mm-hmm.
everything. It looked like real meat, but it wasn't meat at all. So that's real cool for sure.
Not at
Um,
all.
okay, no, okay, I got another question. Okay, so when the pandemic
Mm-hmm.
began, I was living in South Africa, so I was looking for ways to take care of my immune system and different things like that. So I had a
Mm-hmm.
personal question, and I was interested in shiitake. Is that how you say it? Shiitake
Yes.
mushrooms. Well,
Mm-hmm.
can you tell me about that? Because I've heard good things, but then I heard some people say that you shouldn't use them. In terms of the extract or the tinctures. Can you give me a little bit of info
So
about that?
usually shiitakes I eat, because where I'm at, there's a couple of. I mean, Michigan has some good farmers. It's a farming community because the cities aren't that big. You got Detroit, Ann Arbor, Lansing, but the rest of it is like farmland. Um,
Okay.
so I have access to shiitakes, and we usually cook them up and eat them. But in terms of like extracts, mushroom extracts, it's important to one know the source of the extract, because the interesting thing about mushrooms is they're not like plants. They're not plants at all. In fact, that they're in their own separate kingdom.
Mhm.
So because of that, the way we extract the good stuff out of them has to be different. Sometimes we use water, and sometimes we have to use something stronger like alcohol. But and sometimes we have to put both that water extract and that alcohol extract together to form a good medicinal. So like chaga requires probably to have both a double extraction to get good medicinals. Reishi, um, lion's mane you can eat, shiitakes you can eat. So when you're cooking them, it kind of unlocks some of that for you. But some of these
Mhm.
companies out here don't use the fruiting body, which is the mushroom that we actually know, to make their extracts. They use the mycelium, which is kind of the root network, the stuff that's underground, a white fuzz. So if you think of like a piece of fruit that's getting moldy, that white fuzzy stuff, that's like mycelium almost.
Mm.
So it's like fibers that allow the basically the mushrooms to find food. And so when they are done finding food in that area, they release the fruit, which is the mushroom that we're used to seeing, and that's how their spores get out so that they can grow somewhere else. But some companies don't use the fruit of the mushroom; they just use the mycelium, and it's not the same power. It doesn't have the same. So it's all about understanding, like anything. This world is full of capitalists
Yeah.
that that'll get you. So,
Right.
but it's like processes that are really easy to do yourself if you have access to The fresh fruit, you can dehydrate it yourself and start an extraction process yourself. Is actually not as difficult as it seems, to get access to it. But like a lot of those capsules and stuff that's available, they just drying up mushrooms and dehydrating them and making a powder, and that's not effective. Like the cell walls of the mushrooms are haven't been broken down, and your body doesn't break them down like that. Your body has to have extra help doing that. So that's what the double extraction is for. So it's just all about checking resources. But that's why I'm getting into it myself so that I can make those concepts available at the community level. So still learning some processes, but want
Right,
to make sure
right.
it is I can produce them in large amounts. But yeah.
Okay, because that's kind of what my situation was. Because at first, I think I found the powder, and I was like, I'm gonna try to get the real mushroom. I couldn't find
Mm-hmm.
the real mushroom, so I found the little capsules. But then when I was in South Africa, I found a store that sold the actual mushroom. So then I started cooking them up myself. I guess they call it
Yes.
hot water extract or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. So I
Exactly.
guess that's always better if you can get the real thing for sure.
Definitely. Definitely.
Okay, let me see. Now